I want to give a few illustrations more. In the previous video, I made an illustration about a young woman named Julia that has been delivered from the stronghold of rejection upon her life. I want to give some other illustrations now. These characters are fictive characters. As you know of me, I write short stories, so I have experience with the making up characters. Okay, the next character in this illustration is a guy called Kevin. Kevin, he is in his 40s. He has his job. He is a presenter at football matches, but he really doesn't like football at all. It's only for his job. His passion is with music. And in the music world, he has two close friends who are musicians. Kevin is very distant. He only has three people he interacts with in his life, those two friends from the music world and, one of his cousins. He's very distant towards his parents, and dating, well, that's disaster because most of the women that hang out with him leave him after less than 3 weeks. Now, Kevin is quite professional. He knows when to shut up. He knows how to talk to people and please other people. So and he also makes clear he's not into going to the bar and to clubs and being in a mess. He prefers to be alone at home, listening to music or, well, doing like that. He's an introvert, basically. Well, people will look at his life. They see his salary. He has a clean record. Not once was he ever arrested nor charged at a court of law. So when people look at him, they think, well, he's successful. And besides that, Kevin is very straightforward. He doesn't beat around the bush, as they say in English. When he doesn't want something or when he doesn't like you or doesn't feel good about something, he just says it. So people say he's honest, he's sincere, he's moral, so he's alright. That's the appearance. People say things as, well, the grass is greener at the other side. Well, the thing is, the grass at Kevin is fake. First of all, Kevin has abandonment issues. Why? Because his father threatens to leave his mother when he was just 4 years old. He witnessed the fight between the two, that it had an emotional trauma on him, but he doesn't really remember the facts of all the words that were spoken, but the tension had an impact on his emotional development. Also, he has an anger issue. He cannot handle pain at all. So that's why he has this urge to be validated all the time. That's why he only has two friends, basically. Where, well, they're not really friends. He just has two people he's obsessed with. And that's why, he cannot handle, dating because, well, when the women he dates begin to reveal their needs, he becomes frightened and upset. So he has abandonment issues, he has an anger problem, and he's also in denial. Now look, as I mentioned before, spiritual agreements are very powerful. Kevin is in spiritual agreement with things he encountered in the past. And the thing is, Kevin is blinded to the agreements he's involved with. From his own point of view, this is who he is. He doesn't like being around a lot of people. He just wants to have only a few people. He's just an introvert and he wants to have a closed, private life. And the fact that he grew up in a culture where privacy is worshipped as a god. So that's why he now can use privacy as an excuse for remaining in bondage. But he is in bondage. It has nothing to do with privacy and protecting his social sphere, it has to do with the issues he agreed with. But he's blind to it. Why is he blinded? He has a good paying job, he has popularity, and he has privacy. So in that privacy, in that space where nobody looks at him, he feels empowered. But the thing is, most people don't want to hang out with him because they see that he cannot handle any difference. So that's why people just stay away so that they won't be bad-mouthed, because as mentioned before, he's honest. So when he feels something, he just speaks it out without caring what it does to other people. And the thing is, it's never his fault when he feels a certain way. It's always someone else doing something to him. So he's blind to that, and that's why people stay away from him. But yet he is deceived into thinking, I have my privacy, people respect it, I have freedom, while he's in bondage. Now that's what I wanted to talk with you about in this recording, that's blind agreements. I'm going to entitle this video Blind Agreements. I'm going to give another illustration. I'm not staying with this. You have a woman called, I'm going to use a male example again. You have a guy called Ari. Ari graduated law school. He has his master in the rights degree, also his PhD in law. And he even becomes a minister at the parliament. But now, as a minister, he is often criticized for not doing his job well. Even though the goals of his ministry, where he's the head of, are fulfilled, people are still dissatisfied with him because of the mess at his bureaucracy. But despite it being a mess, his job is still done, and his ministry, the ministry is effective, but people are still dissatisfied. Now also the people within the population of the nation states become dissatisfied with him, and they want him gone. But yet, nobody can say, the government cannot say to him, you're fired, because his job is being done. But yet there's this dissatisfaction. The thing is, when Ari was in high school, there was this teacher that sent him out of classroom and was very bitter towards him, and Ari felt rejected. And also his classmates also began to act out weird against him. So Ari received this as a mark on his soul that he is unworthy. Now, this did not impact his grades. He kept getting good grades. He even got a PhD later on in law. So he even became a minister in a very short period of time. Because most people that become ministers, they have to have a long career behind them. But he became minister quickly. Nevertheless, this agreement he's in, that he's unworthy, this agreement is keeping that dark cloud of negative energy around him, and the people around him are sensing this dark cloud. And because those people are illiterate, and because they perceive their feelings as being real, because that's what a lot of people do, for them feeling is being, a lot of people don't discern their own feelings to see whether it's really their feeling or whether it's somewhere else. So people notice this dark cloud around him, and people act out what they are feeling against him. You see? So one day, Ari talks with his wife about it, and the wife decides, okay, we need to go on holiday. So they go on holiday. At holiday, he receives an invitation from high school to go to a reunification, some party of it's 20 years ago that they were in high school, and now people are coming back and people are checking what happens to their classmates. They were there. He and his wife went to the reunification party. At the party, there was this former classmate His name is Barry. Barry had a wife also there. And Barry saw him and ran away, literally. And some people were uncomfortable with him being there at the reunification. And then there was Marie. Marie was a classmate also. And Marie, at the end of the reunification, told him, "I'm sorry." And Ari was thinking, "What the heck are you talking about, Marie? Sorry about what? We didn't speak to each other within 20 years. Even when we were in high school, we didn't speak that much at all." And then Marie tells him, "You know, that day that you were sent out of the classroom, the teacher went way too far. And we went too far too by talking bad behind your back and making you uncomfortable. You were sad for the following weeks at school. And we knew what we did, but nobody wanted to take responsibility for it. Past years, this has bothered me a lot, what we did. Forgive me." When this happens, Ari is thinking again, and Ari thinks, "Oh, well, okay, you're forgiven." Ari does not remember this incident at all. After the reunification, when he's working in his office as a minister again, he now begins to remember what happened. Indeed, that he was sad a few weeks during high school. And now he begins to understand that the same thing that happened within that classroom is now repeating in Parliament at his work. Now look, this is a fictive account, okay, but I'm using it to illustrate this to you guys. I'm talking to believers now. When you're praying, fasting, doing all of that, when you have memories coming up, things from the past that you don't want to remember, just don't be afraid. Just face it, okay? Because it can be that something happens within that time frame that contributed to what's going on now, but you are not aware of it. As I mentioned before, this recording is called Blind Agreement. Ari was blind to the agreement he was in. And he began to notice also that the reason why he was so motivated to get his PhD was to prove that he was worthy. Because he didn't want to endure the emotion of unworthiness anymore. So he became very driven to make it. And he did make it. Then Ari began to understand the formation of his life. And it's then that Ari began to heal of what happened. It was not an emotional trauma that occurred, but he began to understand what was happening. Now, I'm not going to say that afterwards things went well in Parliament, but he finished his term as a minister, and afterwards he got a job somewhere else in the business world as some legal officer. But what I'm saying here is that a lot of people, they are in blind agreements. And the reason why they are in blind agreements is because they are deceived. As I mentioned before, that guy Kevin that I talked about before, because he has a lot of space where nobody bothers with him, he thinks, "I have privacy, I'm free, I'm acknowledged." While in fact, he's under a curse. Ari was successful, and he began to see the attack upon him, the criticism, as a validation of his success, which is partially true, because when you are successful in something, people tend to attack you. You will have haters, that's true. But it wasn't just because he was successful, there was also a negative cloud around him based on what he agreed with. And listen, that's why you have to forgive other people. Look, many people will not apologize to you, they will not admit that they did you wrong, they were just because, listen, a lot of people don't want to admit that they are wrong. They don't want to admit that they are capable of doing wrong. So many people, they are blind themselves. They want to be blind. They don't want to take responsibility. So when they harm you or release harm against you, they will deny it or pretend that they don't know you. Or some people they will become upset with you and try to attack you or to kill you even. So that they are left alone. Listen, a lot of people are not going to apologize. No matter who it is that contributed to whatever curse in or around you, forgive them, release them. Not because they deserve it, but because you obey the Most High. Okay? In the Old Testament it was, you have to forgive others or else I will forgive you. Under the New Covenant is, forgive as Christ forgave you. So you imitate Christ. That's why I'm telling you, imitate Christ. You see, the Lord will not deal, let me say this, often the Lord will not deal with your adversaries before he dealt with you. Why? Because you are the one that needs to be delivered. Yes, your adversaries are wrong for harming you and also for harming others, but the Lord, but listen, you are the believer, so the Lord's priority goes to you. So when the Lord is dealing with you, it's not to punish you. The Lord is not in agreement with what they did, but the Lord wants you to be free. Okay? So don't take it as an offense when the Lord is dealing with you, but obviously the others are in the wrong. Yes, they can be in the wrong, but if you've agreed with something, now you have opened a demonic door in your life, and the Lord wants you to repent of that. Yes, they are wrong, and the Lord will deal with them, but the Lord wants you to be free. Okay? Well, that's it for now. I need to go now. May the grace of Christ Jesus with you. Shalom.